Tatyana Weston-Webb taking on Alessa Quizon. Two Hawaiian goofy foots going head-to-head, trying to avoid a second-round loss at the opening event of the season.
That's a definite throwaway. Alessa Quizon drawing first blood.
Alessa Quizon from the island of Oahu. Set up work out the back. All goofy foot matchup. Quizon winds up under the lip hack. She'll hang on for a moment, but she'll end up incomplete. Meanwhile, Tatyana Weston-Webb is on the next wave. Tati, deep off the bottom in front of Alessa, will get a little backhand carve in. Plenty of wave left. Snaps it and gets down the line. Little backhand roundhouse with the rebound. Now squares up off the lip. Great timing for Tati. And she wants a little bit more. Creating some space on the inside for another slam, and she's out. Quizon falling on the first wave. Tati will have the lead after the opening exchange. So looking at a 5.83 start for Tatyana Weston-Webb. Quizon a 1.5.
Right, Joe. One of the few rookies that actually got through their round one heats and beating someone that you probably looked up to your entire career, Lea Gilmore.
Yeah, I've ever since I was little, I wanted to surf a heat against Steph. She's definitely been one of the big influences in my style and my surfing, and to come out and get the win first heat of my first year on tour, yeah, that's pretty special to me.
Opening debut full time. She was a wild card last year, but now she gets to put a complete year together. Coming back from that quick interview, we see Tati step off as she still has her lead, and we'll keep this one rolling. But think about that sort of equipment. During that Cyclone Winston, we actually saw some clips of Mick Fanning riding some old school boards. Back to this one with Alessa Quizon. Little backhand carve to start, and she'll just keep swinging, waiting for this wall to really open up. Now she has some momentum and a lip to work with. She slams it off the top but goes down.
She's got to kind of try and go back to that and try and adopt that same attitude.
Now having a look is Tatyana Weston-Webb. Deep bottom turn, snaps it under the whitewater. Big section approaching. She'll float it. Now nice connection with the backhand carve right off the top. Looking for a huge finish. Squares up nice and vertical and powers that one, and she'll step off. We talk about the hard work it takes to throw variety on the backhand, and she did a pretty good job there, Potts.
That she did. You know, these two young ladies are very similar in their approach. You know, they've got that deep bottom turn and that backside whip, but you know, I think Tatyana just a little bit more solid on her feet. You know, she looks a little bit more in control.
At the hashtag, put Rosie back on tour, as we think about 15:40 to go in this first heat of the second round. Tatyana Weston-Webb has been on Carroll surfboards the last couple of years, and she always puts together some great equipment. A massive day on hand. We're going to say goodbye to our first competitors here at the Roxy Pro, the first event of the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. Alessa Quizon doesn't want to say goodbye yet. She's up now. The whitewater's delaying her from getting out in front, so she'll step off. And it doesn't just stop in the water, I've realized, with hanging out with you guys, Potts. It goes to the ping pong table, it goes to the poker table, and continues. Here goes Tatyana now. Backside carve off the top, and she's over it. So she'll let that one run free. Last of Tati, a 5.43. Her opening ride, a 5.83. Still keeping it wide open for Alessa Quizon. Knew as soon as she took to the water in her first heat that she was going to be a world champion someday.
Absolutely. Not a word of a doubt right there as we see up and running.
Tatyana Weston-Webb, clean start on the backhand as she snaps it in the pocket. More of a carve down on the next move. Alessa goes for broke on her first re-entry and finishes with a solid closeout hack. Tati weaves out at the same time. The goofy foots continue to swing. Tati's felt like it had a cleaner line, a little more to work with than Alessa's way behind it.
He needs a small score, not a small score, but a solid score, and she's definitely capable of doing it. Tatyana, on the other hand, you can see she's starting to crank it up, starting to get a lot more confidence, put that ball on the rail. You can see her just pumping down the line. She's done a lot of work in the off-season. She looks strong, she looks confident. And this girl, I'll tell you what, once she gets that confidence up, she's going to be tough to beat. Alessa, just a little bit off balance right there, maybe pushing a little bit too hard. Timing just a little bit off. You can see the body language. She's not happy with the way things are going right now. But in saying that, she is not far behind.
A five-time champion here at the Roxy Pro in her local break, including a big win as a wild card. Quizon up and swinging on her backhand. Jams it hard. Now needs a little bit more board speed. Hits it off the lip. Nice timing again, right off the top. filling in multiple maneuvers, and she'll jam it one more time to redirect. What you notice, Potts, is the judges rewarding Quizon on the last. She had a 6.77, so now was just looking for a 4.49 on that last wave.
4.9 required on that last wave. I think she's going to get it, Joe.
Interesting. Let's take another look at this last wave, Potts.
Yeah, beautiful opening turn right there. And again, we talk about the similarities between Alessa and Tatyana. I think Alessa's got a little bit more pizzazz in her turn. She's got that little bit more of an X factor when it comes to those backside snaps.
Now looking at Tatyana, looking to answer back. A solid backside snap. She'll step off. We'll see if she had anything else on that wave in just a moment.
Critical section right now of the heat. Tatyana Weston-Webb looks like she's having a look at this one.
And now running after it into the final minute. She's got a lot of open face to work with. Nice tight jam in the pocket. Healthy looking carve as we look at this bottom turn. Snaps it off the lip. And now coming into this inside track. Carves it. A very important wave because Alessa did get the score on the previous. A 5.63. So that wave, Tati was looking for a comeback roll, needing a 6.58. Fun battle as we hear the horn sound. Now it's just up to that final effort from Tatyana Weston-Webb. Quizon played such an epic game towards the back half of the heat. You could see by her body language she was uncomfortable with her start, but she recovered. Sometimes you see that body language, you get a little worried. But for her, she fired herself up to make a comeback and take the lead, but it all comes down to this wave.
Yeah, you can see that first part of the wave, a little bit of downtime. Now she unleashes a turn right there through the lip, draws off the bottom again, just gets those shoulders back around into the power source and off the bottom again. A beautiful tight snap, throwing a lot of spray. Transition turn right there again, gives it that little finger click. 6.58 required.
She's trying to avoid a second round loss. Quizon, on the other hand, she's now into her third start. She wanted to get a rhythm early. Numbers drift in for Tatyana Weston-Webb. It's a 6.73. It's enough. She takes the lead off Quizon on her final wave to move on to round 3.